Hi, everyone. Before I start, I want to thank Michael Robert and Michael Hansen for having me here, and also for helping me along the way to present to you guys. My name is Johnny Baklini. I am the operator of 48 quick service restaurants in 3 different states. I own 32 of them with my partners and cousins. We have 46 Little Caesars locations in Arizona, Oregon, and California. We have 1 Jersey Mike in Yuma, Arizona, and we are the founders of a brand new concept called Coco Playa, coffee and cookie, in San Diego, California, that we started last year. I'll tell you more about it later. My journey did not start here. I'm here to hopefully share what I learned in my life so that it could be some value to you guys. And my story did not start here. It was actually a lot different. Imagine you were born in Beirut, Lebanon, in the middle of the Civil War, 2 years before the end of the Civil War. Where everything was dark and gray. I was born in 1986, where the roads and the buildings were destroyed. Life wasn't a regular life for a kid. Imagine, I still remember the time where I can still hear the sounds and big bombs and the building collapsing, and my parents' fear carrying me downstairs to the bunkers where we sit with our neighbors and pray that we're going to see the light the very next day. I still remember the story that my parents tell me when there's a break from the war, a few hours, they have to go get bread and some groceries. They have to know where they're walking to because there's bombs, and they are scared of putting their legs on a bomb and die. So I lived, even though I did not live the war, I experienced a lot of it. I come from a family that used to be well known in Lebanon. You can see on the right side here, my uncle, Uncle Tony. Uncle Tony was a big leader in my area. He was defending our area, and he was also a very close friend to the president of Lebanon back then. Now, both of them got assassinated, or I'll tell you later about it. But my cousin was my hero. I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, and I looked up to my cousin, to my uncle. He not only helped free our neighborhood, but also he supported the poor, supported the people in need, supported the people that couldn't find food, and he defended against the enemies that were coming and taking our land. So I grew up looking up to my uncle, and I wanted one day to be that same leader. He was so loved that when he passed away, now in Lebanon, you can find roads by his name. And so his memory still lives with us. Growing up post-war, it wasn't the perfect backyard or the perfect playground for kids. I still remember the dogs roaming in packs. And so we go down and we play with them, we feed them. I still remember half-torn buildings, and those where we played hide and seek. I still remember the empty bullet casing we would grab, and my mom actually would make them a vase, and we put flour inside them. I still remember the old tanks that are destroyed, and we jump from one to another and play with them. It wasn't a normal childhood, but for us back then, it was a fun childhood, because we get to play with stuff nobody usually get to play with. But later in life, I learned that those are all traumas adding up to my life. The shadow of post-war and the war didn't leave us alone. I remember one night we got a phone call one evening that my Uncle Tony passed away. He was assassinated. They put a bomb under his desk, and he flew all the way and hit his head with a door handle. Passed away instantly. Imagine a child waking up the next day without his hero uncle that he always looked up to and wanted to be like him. My uncle died on Christmas time. So after that, as Christians, we never celebrated Christmas again. Just 1 second, sorry. Life after that was really black and white. Even though I am colorblind, now it was really black and white. Because all the fun stuff that we used to do got canceled. Every occasion got canceled. The family that was once famous was canceled. And this is just another trauma in my life. But also, I never got to know my grandpa. My granddad was assassinated and he was at work, he got beheaded. So all those traumas as a kid, even though then you probably don't feel them, you get sad, but later on in life they catch up. School was a different struggle for me. You know, I grew up as a underperforming student. I wasn't the smartest. By no means. I was probably the last one in my class. I had speech issue. I was late to speak. And when I spoke, I mixed my words. So everybody mocked me. The teachers, my friends, family members, everyone. And that was okay, but that was another trauma. A trauma of silence. I discovered if I stay silent, no one's gonna laugh at me. So why speak? Because every time I speak, someone's gonna laugh. And as you can see, the trauma of silence still carry on with me today because I'm scared of talking in public. And today was my challenge. It's my challenge to stand here and talk to you guys. But I decided I can do it, and it's time to change my life once again. In my school in Lebanon, it was okay to hit students. It was okay to hit students, not just because they are not behaving, but also because they are underperforming. And as I shared before, I was underperforming. So every time I woke up, I knew when I go to school, I'm gonna get hit. So imagine another trauma. Every day you go to school, you are going to get hit. But that also will pass. This is my school in Lebanon. This is how the bathroom looks like. That's a true story. And this is us in Lebanon, in school, in bunkers. So school was another struggle for me, as you can see. At the age of 13, I asked my parents, I want a bike. I really want a bicycle. And my dad and my mom didn't really agree with me. And now I get it, because the streets of Lebanon are not the safest. Also, I don't think they could afford it. But they blame the streets anyways. So I decided to get a job, a summer job. And at the age of 13, I was managing we call them internet cafe centers in Lebanon. So I was a worker there. I would make sure I go in the morning, turn on the computers, make sure everybody is set, get some money, and do it. I worked the summer for 3 months. And in that 3 months, I made $150. I still remember today. That was my biggest achievement. $150 for 3 months work in summer. But of course, I spent a lot of it because you got to survive the summer. But then I purchased my first bike. It was a used bike. It was a part of every other bike. So I had different wheel size, but it worked. And so I was happy. And it was my first lesson I learned in life. If I really want something in life, I have to work for it. And so that was my first lesson. Work hard and you will achieve something. And so every other summer after that, I worked to make, and I got, at the age of 18, I worked that summer to get my first phone. I worked at a videographer where they take weddings. I forgot the name of that. We call it Luma in Lebanon. I don't know what's called in the States. But that camera is very heavy and comes with a lot of weight. And most Lebanon weddings are on top of the hill, and there's few parking. So you park in the bottom, and then you have to take that piece by piece up, assemble it, and make it happen. And you usually do it a few hours before the wedding, and you have to wait all the way after the wedding until it's done, and everybody leaves so nobody can see you. And then you can disassemble the heavy weight and go back and return home at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. I still remember, I made $10 per day. And that was huge. I graduated school 2 years later than I was supposed to because I'm not the brightest. At 20 years old. In Lebanon, you fail your class, you have to repeat it. But then, I'm going to have one more water. At that age, I was happy. Because in college, no one knows me. No one knew my history, so I can go and become a new person, a different person. I can pretend I'm going to be whatever I am, and everybody's going to believe me. Nobody's going to laugh at me. And I can say I'm coming from a different school, I'm a bright guy. I was so excited. I'm going to start a new life, and new things are going to happen to me. But then I was told my paperwork came, and I need to move to the state. I wasn't happy, to be honest. I was going to move to the state where I don't speak the language. I don't know anybody. I just about to finish my messed up life. I'm going to start a new life, and now I have to move? That didn't feel fair. And this is when you doubt it. You're talking to God, ask him why. God knows. I moved to the state. I remember it was a Sunday. The first thing we stopped to was In-N-Out, so I was very happy. And I'm sure if you guys know Little Caesar's Pizza in town, right? So the first day I came was Sunday. Monday was Customer Appreciation Day. And my dad's cousins own Little Caesars in town here, the Feghali family. And so the very next day, I was very lucky to find a job and start working right away from Beirut, Lebanon. I've never flown an airplane before. I don't know how it feels like, another trauma. But I got to the state. The first thing I'm doing is actually work. I remember minimum wage was $7.50. I called my friends in Lebanon. I told them I'm going to be a millionaire. I make $7.50 an hour. I didn't speak the language, so obviously they put me as sign holding. The pepperoni, doesn't take a genius to put in pepperoni, and washing the dishes. And so because I didn't speak the language, that was my job at the beginning. I was also at the office with Maya that's here to support me today, and she taught me the office job. She spoke Arabic, so I could learn from her. And then I would go back to Little Caesars and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's all I did for 6-7 months. I didn't speak English, but I learned the street English. So if you talk to me back then, it's almost like a rapper. I didn't know proper English. So all I learned was what I learned on the streets. I went to BC, and then I went to CSUB, learned proper English, and graduated CSUB in 2012. It was a big year for me. I learned how to speak. Obviously, I graduated with operations, and I wanted to grow in the company. And in 2012, that's when I got also my citizenship, and that's when I met my beautiful wife, Elsie. I was determined that I can make it happen. And the family that brought me here and supported me, I can do good for them. I can work hard and change my life. So I became a district manager. I was so happy and so proud. I'm in charge of 13, back then, 13 Little Caesars location. I work 80 hours a week, no problem. 90 hours a week, no problem. I would never stop working because I was determined. I'm going to change my life. I was fueled by creativity, and every day I would wake up. Before I sleep, I would imagine how my day is going to be, what I'm going to change, and I would just go for it and do it. I led an incredible team, and without them, I couldn't have done it. But that team, we doubled our revenues. We won national awards since 2012, year after year. Imagine 5,000 Little Caesars restaurants in the world. We are #1 in Bakersfield for 12 years in a row. 12 years in a row, more, 13 years in a row. We won it year after year. In 2014, also, I got married. I went to Lebanon and got married with my beautiful wife, Elsie. If you're Lebanese, you have to throw a big wedding. And so I had no choice. I used to make back then $42,000. And my wedding costed way more. So I had to finance my wedding. I went to Lebanon, pretended I'm okay, everything is good, got married, and came back to the state with a pregnant woman. I came back with a pregnant woman. We didn't have a house. I had to buy a house. I didn't know we were going to get pregnant so fast. We got pregnant. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't afford it. I have my FAFSA, which is my school loans. I have my wedding loan. I need to get an apartment. I need to furnish it, and I need to hang out with my wife. She just came. She also doesn't speak English, right? So I have to entertain her. No, there's no way with 42,000. So luckily, at the restaurants, we were looking for a company that's going to come in and clean up our restaurants. And there was no way I was going to get a raise enough to sustain what I'm going to do. So I thought to myself, why I don't get another loan and buy this top-of-the-line scrubber and start my new business, cleaning business. And that's what I did. Because if I was going to focus on saving, there's not much amount of savings I can do to sustain my life. So I focused on the top line. And that was my lesson too. If you want to achieve something in your life, focus on generating more income. And that's what I did. But that wasn't fun. And it took a lot of sacrifice. Remember I told you I work 80 hours a week. So now I would wake up with a pregnant wife that moved to the state, brand new, doesn't know the language, doesn't have friends, doesn't know anybody. Would have coffee with her, leave to work, come back at 6, have dinner with her for 2 hours, chat, and hope to God that she's fine. And then at 8, leave my house and go cleaning. I'll go cleaning and come back at 1 and 2, then send repeat. Again, back then, you're thinking, what a life. It's not worth it. But then we learn that God have a reason for everything in life. In 2018, I partnered with my cousin here, Ryan, and my best friend, and Jeffrey, also my second cousin, and we decided we want to change our lives. So together, we acquired our first location, Little Caesars location, Ridgecrest, in Ridgecrest, California, in 2018. I still remember. It was October 2018, because I went and I worked Halloween. But we were so happy, so excited. That's all what we need, just one store. It's going to be great. In 2019, you guys remember, 7.1 earthquake hit Ridgecrest. And we were freaking out. I got a loan for the down payment. So the bank didn't know that. Hopefully, I'm glad that AJ left. I got money loaned to me to put in for the bank so that I can get this location with my cousins. And now we have an earthquake, and we were so scared because, I don't know if we have a store anymore. It's 7.1 earthquake, it's huge. And I didn't know if the store is good, the equipment is going to be okay. That was like going to be the end of us. Luckily, God knew what he was doing, and the store survived. But the city really did not. There was problems with the hospital. There was problem with houses. They didn't have gas. They didn't have electricity. There was problem with schools. And the biggest problem that I saw on TV was that restaurants and supermarkets were gouging their prices. I thought, how not fair is this? My employees were scared. They didn't want to go to work. I can't force them. I understand. They didn't live a war. They just had an earthquake. It's fine. But the big problem was those people gouging their prices. It didn't sit well with us. So my cousins and I decided that we're going to make a group from Bakersfield, the SWAT group, and we're going to go all the way. We're going to open the store, and we're going to serve everybody free pizzas. That way, nobody can be hungry. People that can't cook, they can come in and get free pizza, and we open up, and we serve free pizza for everyone that can make it. But that taught us, this is the SWAT team that went to Ridgecrest. But that taught us one thing, that the more we give, the happier we became. The more we give, the happier we became. And so that was an addiction. We want to do more, because that's really what life is about. That is really what is happiness. The lesson number 3 is happiness is by giving. And the more you give, the happier you become. Also, I learned that later, the more you receive. We went from 1 location to 31 locations in 3 states in 6 years. And people ask me, how do you do it in 6 years? You didn't have money. No, I didn't have money, but I had people. And we took care of our people. We were there for our people. We can't grow, we can't scale without the best team, without A-plus players, without people that actually care. But for them to care, you have to care first. The more you give, the more you get. But if you don't give anything, you don't get anything. So you have to give happiness. You have to give support. You have to take care of your people. And you have to be there for them. If there's a wedding, I'm there for them. If there's a funeral, I'm there for them. No matter what it is, supporting your people, supporting our people is what got us here. What got us to 31 location. And that's just the beginning. In 2024, my cousin came up with a great idea of Coco Playa. We thought, we never get a really good coffee. We never get a really good cookie. There's crumble cookie, it's all sugar. There's some coffee, it's not really good coffee. So why don't we mix Dutch Bros and crumble cookie together and create something special we call Coco Playa? Am I good on time? And in San Diego, we founded Coco Playa with a goal to achieve to have 1,000 locations in the next 10 years. We want to be the franchisors. Our company is called Cedars Group. I need more water. The reason we picked Cedars Group, Cedars was mentioned in the Bible over 70 times. And cedars is one of the strongest trees. Their roots mix together, and it's very hard to knock them down because of their roots. And we discovered in Ridgecrest that really what makes us different is our roots, our support to our community. Our purpose is to elevate community we serve. Our community is our people, our employees. And so, because we were loving it, because we were addicted to serving and do better for the community, all what we wanted to do is open more stores and serve more. And so during COVID, that's what we did. We helped the police department and the homeless shelter. This is part of what we like to do. And not just to generate profit, but also to elevate our community, elevate our people. I have people that work for us that never went to college. I was bad at college, I understand. I was bad at school, I understand. And if we can give them an opportunity to grow and become someone else and make more money and help support their families, that's what we want to do. That's why we created Cedars Group, which is known by its roots. My beautiful wife, Elsie, and my kids are my greatest inspiration. From Johnny, the 13-year-old that worked hard for his bicycle, to now a business leader in the quick service industry. I owe it to my kids and my wife that supported me. I couldn't have done it without her support, without her love, and without her wisdom. And dealing with me too. I'm not the easiest person on earth. And I work so hard. I'm not alcoholic, but I'm workaholic. I need a drink after here. I work hard, and so Elsie was a huge support. Imagine you come into a new country, you're pregnant, you don't know anybody, you live in a small apartment, and you're trying to make it, and you're supporting your husband that you don't see. It's very hard. So thank you, Elsie. How I got here, I think I want to share with you a few things that I learned. First, I always said yes. Never denied an opportunity. And even if I didn't know how to do it, I pretended I did, and I learned. Saying yes was what got me here. But then learning, even though I wasn't the best at learning, I wasn't the best at school, but I learned that the more I learn, the more powerful I will become. So I made it a habit that I learn, and I read every day, every week. But learning, if you are to say yes to opportunities, then you have to learn. And I learned, the more I said yes to opportunities, the more opportunities said yes to me. And so by learning, I learned that I should never give up, because it's so easy. You can always give up from a book. You can always give up learning. And if you give up, you will never achieve it. So another lesson that I learned, say yes, learn, and never give up. But to be able, and there's going to be times where you're going to look down to yourself and talk bad to yourself and say you can't do it, you're a failure, you can't speak, you're not good at school. Life is tough, life is unfair, there's all those questions. But if you remind yourself who you really are. And so I make it a habit every morning to really remember who I am. I write down in the present tense the future Johnny that I want to be. I want to be the Johnny the tycoon. I want to be the person that builds school. I want to be the person that builds churches. I want to be the person that helps his community. I write it down as if I made it already. And every morning I wake up, I read it, I remind myself who I am really. And when I remind myself, I believe it. And when I believe it, I become it. So it's very important, at least for me, in my experience, to every morning remind yourself who you really are. If I tell you that I am a person, I'm the product of myself, I would be a big liar. Nobody in this room is. Nobody at all is a product of themselves. I am a product of multiple mentors and inspirations in my life. You can see the Feghali family that welcomed me the day one in my life in Bakersfield and supported me. Joe Feghali that mentored me on making deals and negotiating. And Maya here that's helped me at the office and I learned QuickBooks and all everything about the office. And my partner and cousin and best friend, Ryan, that is my accountability partner. Together, we set goals to each other, whether personal, family, or business, and we discuss it every day. We hold ourselves accountable, and we support each other. I couldn't have made it without him. So thank you, Ryan, for coming here all the way from San Diego. Our director of operation, Miguel Martinez, that's not here today. He comes from a family that, poor in Bakersfield and worked all the way up. He didn't go to school. He didn't have a goal in life. Together, we worked hard. We learned together, and now he's our director, doing great things. My Uncle Tony, the leader, the friend of the president, the guy that I looked up to, the person that I want to become like eventually, is also a mentor. I learned a lot from Gandhi that war should not be fought by tanks. War could be fought by peace. And so, my dad and my mom, my dad came to the States at the age of 65 so that I can have an opportunity in life. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here also. And you probably are wondering, why is Albert Einstein here? Albert Einstein was late to speak. Albert Einstein was bad at school, and they kicked him out from school. When I was in my early age, everybody that laughed at me, everybody that thought I was crazy, I remembered Albert Einstein because they also thought he was crazy. And so he was my inspiration. If I stay quiet, I might be one day that crazy person that changed the world. Dr. Radi, that is here with me today from San Diego, he came all the way. He is my executive he is my executive coach. He's also a physician, a writer, and a good friend. And he's the one that taught me about my traumas. Help me understand, who am I really? And without a coach in life, you can get nowhere. He's the guy that told me I can stand here today and talk to you guys, and I should say yes to the invitation. So thank you, Roddy. Mother Teresa that taught me the more you give, the happier you become. She's the one that said that, and I love everything she did in her life. And I'm never going to be like her, but I always strive. And finally, but Jesus, that I learned from his patience, and I learned from his sacrifice, and from the 10 Commandments that I can be a better person every day. I can work on myself every day. Sometimes I fail, but there's always another day. You can always wake up the next day and decide to be a better person. So I am the product of all these people, and there's more that I couldn't mention, but I am not the product of myself. If you ask me what takeaway you would take, I would suggest adopt a yes mentality. Say yes to opportunity. And if you're unsure, you'll figure it out. Refuse to talk down to yourself, because if you talk down to yourself, you will actually believe it and you will actually become it. Don't talk low to yourself, and be positive. Work hard, learn constantly, and never shy away from questions. Each morning, I remember myself that I am Johnny, the business tycoon. I am Johnny that have international businesses that employ 100,000 employees. I am Johnny that nobody can mess with me. I had a lawsuit that came to our desk not too long ago, and I was freaking out. I got a lawsuit. But then I remembered, I'm Johnny the tycoon, that I am not yet, but I will become. I'm Johnny the tycoon. If I got this problem, no problem. That's going to go away. I figured that the problems are like kidney stones. In the present, they are hard, but then they go away, and then you learn from them. And so every problem that comes to me, I remember it's going to be a kidney stone again. Always remember to smile. That's my purpose in life. And I encourage everybody to really know your purpose, because without purpose, there's no light and there's no way to get there. You might laugh at the purpose. Always remember to smile. What does that mean? For me, it's not about always remembering to smile. I think my purpose in life is to elevate people. My purpose in life is to make people smile. My purpose is to help somebody in need, and by that, creating a smile. My purpose is to encourage everybody and tell them they got a chance. Tell them if I can make it, they can make it too, and that's my purpose. And somebody without purpose will never make it in life. And it's not easy to discover your purpose. It took me 30 years to know really who I am. But to do that, I would suggest you guys spend some time with yourself. 2-3 hours a day, sit down and really ask yourself, I'm created for a purpose. What is really my purpose? And to get to your purpose, I suggest you ask yourself 5 times why, because the first answer is usually not the right answer. 5 times why, you get deep to yourself. You sit down and you figure it out. And once you figure it out, work hard for it. Let everybody know about it. Advertise it and work hard to become it, because now you have a purpose. My purpose is always remember to smile. This is my story, and I'm not done. I'm not even close.
Let's have a round of applause for Johnny Baklini. Now, Johnny, I have a question for you. Are you becoming a member of our Executive Association of Kern County?
Yes, as of today. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And why did you choose to become a member of the Executive Association of Kern County?
Well, to be very honest, it's because of you and Michael Hansen. But also, I want to be part of this community. I want to be able to support as much as I need, and also just be part of it and learn more about it, because I don't really know exactly what is it.
And you're among a bunch of great friends in doing so. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. And we have a special gift, a date night for you and your lovely bride.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.